Okay, so now we just finished talking about what a class is. We touched
Yeah.
on attributes of the class. Um, so now what we're going to talk about are constructors, right? Constructors are one of the very important fundamentals when we're dealing with programming. So I'm going to
Okay.
share my Open IntelliJ and share my screen and
Okay.
explain the concept of constructors. And this concept of constructors is just going to be basically touching on what what we have been looking at. Right. Remember the runner class that we're doing in all the examples. Right. I'm going to use the same human class. Right. This
Mm-hmm.
is a human class, and as you can tell that inside this human class, we have uh, the class human, and this class human takes in the class human has attributes age, gender, name, sex, right? And it
Yes.
has getters and setters, right? And we use getters and
Right.
setters and put this private because of encapsulation, right? Now, when I look at the runner class, can you hear me very well?
Yeah. Perfectly.
Yes. When I look at the runner class, um, we said human dot set age, which was one of the values, etc. Right? I'm gonna take that out.
Mm-hmm.
I want us to focus on this key that I said. That whenever you create a class, in order to get access to methods and particular attributes in that class, we need to create a key for that, and that is the object, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the
Yeah.
way we create an object, I gave you the formula. It's the name of the class, which is human, then the name of the object, whatever name you want to give it, equals to the new keyword. And then the name of that class, put the parentheses and the semicolon, right? This is how you will always create an object of a class. Whether today, whether
Okay.
10 years to come, this is how we are going to create an object of a class. And what is an object of a class? An object of a class is just the key that we use to get access to the methods and attributes that are in that class. Confirm that you
Okay.
understand that.
I understand that.
Okay, nice.
So
So
to quote you, you said the object of a class is you having an object to create a key to give you access to the class that you have.
yes, this one, so that we can access these things again, right?
Okay.
And put values into it. But now,
Okay.
eh, I want to give you an example of what's happening here, right? Eh, Before I jump into constructors. So I want you to think of it. So this object human right now, eh,
Mm-hmm.
think of human as, okay, let's think of this human class here, this human class. Let's think about it as a blueprint to create cars, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or like, oh, let's well, do not think anything PG. We are a human manufacturing machine, right? Like a, a factory that makes dolls, right? We make dolls, like not actual
Mm-hmm.
people, right? Like dolls, like Barbie dolls, the
Mm-hmm.
little, oh, the little princesses. If you have children that are on the, girl side, you should know that, like dolls, right? We manufacture dolls, right? So each doll is gonna
Mm-hmm.
have an age, a gender, a name, and a sex, right? Mm.
Right.
So this is what this human class represent. It represents that template to create the doll, right? And when you come
Mm-hmm.
here and create this object, we are
Mm-hmm.
creating a doll called human, right? So this object of that class is technically a, a one doll that we're creating, right? I
Mm-hmm.
can come again here and do this, and I say human two. That means I would
For the
have created
second
an,
door.
yeah, come here and I'll say human three, right? Uh, Camel facing. You see that?
So as long as he has the object human, you can keep going with 3, 4, 5, 6
You
added
can create
beside it.
as many different objects as you want.
So let me assume that the object now you change that name from human to person, it probably will default or give a error.
If you change which human, this one?
Yeah.
No, that doesn't matter. This one. That
Okay. The
one
one
is
that will,
just the name. So whenever I
okay,
say
yeah,
it's the
that's true.
name, it's what you choose to name it. I can call it Jollof.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
So as long as the main one with the capital one letter
Yes.
does not change, you're fine.
Yes. Why? This is the name of this class. I'm saying, hey, I want to
Okay.
create a, a doll from this class, right? We said, well, this is a doll, right? A, a, a,
Mm-hmm.
ted- a, a Barbie girl with age, gender, name, and sex, right? Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so here now, I am then using those templates to create different dolls.
Okay.
You get that? So I have this
Yeah.
doll, human, human two, human three, jollof. You can have 100. So now, let me take you also a little bit back. Hey, what type of phone do you use?
There is 100.
Yeah, you use an Android. Okay. Okay, let me give you an example. Let's talk about, do you have Facebook?
Yes.
Yes. So uh, your profile, my profile, uh, my friend's profile, and everybody else's profile, we are, uh, you agree that they're pretty much the same.
Profile.
Yes, on Facebook, they're pretty much the same. You have the, you know, welcome to Facebook, put your thoughts, post, share, send, update status. Everybody has those things, right?
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes.
if
That's
I'm
correct.
creating a Facebook object, those things that I just talked about will be in my template.
Oh, okay.
Right? So that means you are an object. Your account is an object. My account is an object. My friend's account is an object, just like what you see over here.
Okay.
And this one now, the first one can come in and say human dot, let's just say set age, a set name. Okay. Let's call this one alpha. Do you see that? This object is called alpha. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
we can come here and have human two, still using the same set name. We call it ban. Look at this. Come here and say human three. Then we set name to Jollof. Then
Oh, so I'm believing since you set from number 7, and you set the name from number 7, you set into new human, is able to coordinately do other ones underneath and just set and keep going.
no, no, no.
Is that correct?
That's not correct. What's happening here is what is happening here is that this one is an object on its own.
Okay.
This and this are unrelated, and this
Ah,
is
I see. You
unrelated.
did the
So
same thing. Okay, okay,
what I
okay.
just
So you
did
did the
is
same
I
thing.
created the object. The template I used is
Hmm.
called human. The template, this one used code 2, 3 jollof, right? Just the same as your, you have your own Facebook page. I have my own Facebook page.
Hmm.
Uh,
Right.
my friend has their own Facebook page. What we are just objects of the same template that Facebook uses.
Mm.
So
So just like the capital human comes from the
exactly. So
class human, so he's able
yes,
to use that to create other
that's why we say
objects.
it's object-oriented programming, because just creating
Ah,
this, we can
ah.
use it
Now you
so
make sense.
many
I hear that
times.
word a lot. Okay, object oriented. Okay.
Yes, we're using an object to create this. Here, we created an object, an object, an object. So that means we can have 1,000 people using human class. Same attributes, same everything, right? Yeah. So in this case, that's why it's important to create the template that is general that everybody else can use, right? Like right now, you can go update Facebook. I can go update Facebook. But what if, have you ever received a message maybe on your phone that says Facebook needed an upgrade?
Yes.
Yes. So that means that, do you think they called you and they came and took your phone and they wrote code in your phone? Do you think that's what they did? Yes. Why? Because we all have a central place where they just go and update. Like I can come in here and update here, private character, I'll call it grade. Do you see what I just did? And I come here and generate getters and setters for that one. Grade, right? Boom. Do you see that? Grade, generate getters and setters. When I come here now, if I say human dot,
It's gonna see it.
look at that. Set grade. And I'll call it big. What just happened here? This is like an update. We just had to change here. And now all these guys here, all this have access to that already. You see? Grade, set grade, there you go. And this one is grade A. You see that? They all have access to it. This one has access to it, this one has access to it. But did I have to come here and change here? No, I just changed one class, which is the model class. That's why it's called the model class. That's the class that has every single thing. So Facebook went ahead and made an update into their code. And after they made that update into their code, every person who's an object to that particular main code just had to update their phones, more like restart, and get the code that was added into their phone.
Wow. Fantastic.
Mind blowing, isn't it?
Yeah. What you just did now just made so much more sense. So you can actually go in there and say, okay, you know what? I want to private and create a character, a new grade, get grade. They create an object of that. With your public, you're able to access it.
Yep.
And yeah, okay.
So this is what is called object-oriented programming. We just have to create one thing that everybody else that needs that thing just creates an object of that item by using the name of the class. They do whatever they want with it, right? Because right now, if you print out human dot set name to say alpha, human to set name, get name to say Ben, this one will say Jolo, right? So different people are just using the same object.
The same object.
They're just using the same, the same class, but creating their own object. Now, this is tiresome, right? This on its own is quite tiresome, right? How can I make this easier for you? Okay, this is what I'll do. Okay, I'm going to just comment out some of this in case you need that piece of code. I'll leave them down there. Okay, so now I'm gonna explain. I have time. I'll then just send out the homework. Then do it. Okay, I'm gonna explain this, where this is coming from. Right? We know where this is coming from. Don't we know that? Where is this coming from?
The human.
Where is it coming from?
From the class. The class.
Yes, the class name. Right? Now, whenever you're creating an object of a class, by default, what you have inside your class, these two, I'll remove them here and then just for this to be clear. Okay. This one up there. Okay, are you ready?
Sure.
Okay, so in this case, let me just wait. So now I want to show you where things are coming from. Inside this runner class, for us to create an object of the class, we said human, we gave it a name, we use the new keyword. This is the keyword that Java gives us and tells us, hey, use this keyword every single time you want to create a new object of a class. This is a keyword that we get from Java, and that's why it's also in an orange color. It's by default. And most of the things that are orange, they are things that Java is given us. You see that?
Yeah.
So now, where does this come from?
The function.
Yes, where this one comes from afterward. Now, this comes from here. Java, every single time you create a class in Java, right, every single time, Java creates what is known as a constructor. A constructor, just like what its name suggests, is what we use to construct an object. It's what helps us construct an object. Right? That's why it's called constructor. We use it to construct, to make something. Right? So by default, inside Java, whenever you create a class, Java creates what is known as a default constructor. And how does it do it? Inside, where you don't see right now, there's something like this, public human. Like this, that got created. And the moment I wrote it, you see it changed the color.
Yeah.
To show that it's being used. Where is it being used? Right here. What is a constructor? It's just a method in Java that we use to help us create an object. And this method is known by two things: public keyword, and also it has the same name as the class. And it's the only method, I think, that starts with a capital letter. The name of the method, the name of the constructor, and the name, because where we're going to use it, we need to use it as capitalized, right? So the name of the class, like that, this is a method. It's the only method that doesn't start with a small letter. It starts with a capital letter, and it matches exactly the name of the class, right?
Yeah, I was about to say that.
So that
class 2 is.
Yes, exactly the same. And if you see, it doesn't have a return type because nothing is being returned, right? We don't have public int, public what. It's just like public and the same exact name as the class, right? Now, to know that this is a method, all methods have parentheses after the method name. What do I mean? Look at this. Public int get age parentheses. You see that? That means it's a method. Look at that. Set age, the method, parentheses. Get gender, parentheses.
Parentheses.
Every single method has a parenthesis. And next week, I'll touch on the methods and what these things are inside. But the point is, every method will have a parenthesis after the name. And this just shows us where the constructor starts and where the constructor ends. But what does this mean? That means whenever you create an object of this guy, you do not need to put anything because there's already nothing in the parentheses. So that's why when you come here, you just use the name of the class, the name that you gave the object, the new keyword, and the name of the constructor method. Do you see that? And then we close the semicolon. So that is the correct formula. Name of the class, then the name that you give to your object, the new keyword, and the construct. You see the thing I highlighted there?
Yeah.
Right? Do you see what I highlighted? Human parentheses?
Human. Yes.
Look, it's exactly this. Do you notice that?
I see.
It's exactly the same thing. Why? Because that's what we use. New, this. So it's the name of the class, new, and then the method. And why before is because Java gives us this by default whenever you create a class. So whenever you create a class, the classes already come with methods that are already within them. I'll give you an example. If I say human right now, right? If I say human dot, these are the methods I created. You see, they have M. You see them? Yes. This one, set, right? Get, grade, blah, blah, blah. But look at this. There is equals. Did I create this method? No.
No.
Hash code, no. To string, get class, notify, notify, oh, wait. In order. Those are methods that you get by default. Okay. Every single time you create a method, you create a class, Java gives you these methods by default. And one of the things Java does to you by default is to give you a default constructor so that you don't struggle when you're creating an object of a class. Am I making sense?
That makes so much sense.
Makes so much sense,
yes,
right?
That makes sense.
Now,
yes, sir.
Now you can have so many different flavors of objects that you want, right? Just like how we went to the Facebook. Do you think your Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg's Facebook is the same thing? Do you think do you think it's 100% the same? Your account in Mark Zuckerberg's Facebook account, right? Mark Zuckerberg, the owner of Facebook, most likely has a button that says "Shut down Facebook," and it's the only one with that. Right? That means, as much as we are objects, there are other objects that have have other things that we do not have. So that's why the constructors
they have more standard objects.
Exactly. So that's why the constructor gives us the ability to create so many different flavors of constructors. So that
is that how guys from Africa is that how they're able to hack into the system through this private and public, all those stuff that they do? Are they able to they're using this?
I can't go ahead and say that this term is
oh, sorry, we were recording. Sorry.
This stream is
okay. Go ahead.
Recorded.
Go ahead.
On YouTube, a lot of people watch it, so I don't want to give people information that can get me in trouble.
It's interesting. Yeah. Go ahead.
So now, we are going to create our own constructor, right?
Okay.
And whenever you create your own constructor, Java automatically takes away the default constructor. So whenever you create your own constructor, you also have to always put the default constructor like that. Right. So to create
so when you create your object, and there's a constructor that you also have to create your own constructor.
So yeah, in here you create your own constructor so that you can have your different versions of your objects, right? Just like Mark Zuckerberg's account, it might have a button that says "Shut down Facebook," and your account doesn't. So that means we might get the code, the template from the same place, but somebody else's object requires more authority than another one. Okay, you get my point? In order to achieve
Okay.
that, you then have to have different flavors of constructors, right? And in this case, to create a constructor, this is what you do. Right click, generate, construct. So you can generate a constructor that takes in all of these guys. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is how it's created. I'm sure you have seen something like this on your code. You can go ahead and generate a constructor that just takes in the edge alone. You see what I mean? You, you can
Okay.
you can have so many different constructors, right? So what does this mean? That means that whenever you're creating an object now, remember where you were saying set edge, get edge, and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can create an object with all of this information already inside. It makes your job way easier, right? When we did it here, we had to use getters and setters, right? Set, get the value. Why? Because
Yes.
the object was just empty. It didn't have the values. But then we also, when we generated a constructor like this, that means we can create an object and already put in the values in it, as we are just creating the object.
Instead of
And we
doing it
don't have to,
one after the other, with the
yes,
constructor, you can just the constructor can
ex-
help you do that. Is that what you're
e-
saying?
exactly. Let me show you. Let's create another object here called using the human class, but you want to call the object human2, right?
Mm-hmm.
Look at this very careful. Is equals to new. Now, I'll say construct, right? Now, inside here, I'll do this. It wants the age. I'll say 5 years old, comma. It wants the character, male, comma. It wants the grade, B, comma. The name, string name, we call it alpha. Sex, we call it male. What did I? Oh, sex is an integer. Who makes sex an integer? Me. Okay, let's just make it binary, right? 0 for 1 for male and 0 for female. Now, you see human2, right? Right.
Mm-hmm.
By looking at this, in human1, if I want to set all these values, I have to say human dot, then I'll go and say set name. Then I go and
Right.
say set gender, set this, set that, right?
Yes.
But
Mm-hmm.
I've just achieved all of that here
With the constructor.
with the
So
help of
first
the
you went
constructor.
to the human.java first to put the constructor in.
Yes,
Then
this
you
one.
come back. Okay, yeah, which is what you did here.
Uh-huh.
Public human. Okay.
And then I put the values in. Now, I can go ahead and
Output system outprint.
yeah, just human2.
Human two. Human two. Yeah.
If I run human2, I might
It
need to
should
use the
give me all that.
toString method. The toString method helps you make it helps showcasing things nicely. You see, so what I got here when I printed this human, I got the location of the object. You get it? I got the location of the object. So in order for you to print out the object, right? You want to go to your human class over here, and you want to create something known as the toString method. I'm sure you have seen it in your code. ToString basically means I want to print out my object nice. Do you get what I mean?
You want it to print out exactly the way it's shown.
Yes. So you just come here, right click, generate. It says toString. You see this one?
Mm-hmm.
ToString. Then you say, okay, this is what it says. So when I use this method with my object, it should say human. I can even change that to just for it to say person. You can even say whatever for it to print. So it's gonna say age, gender, and all this. Let me show you. I'll come here, human2 dot to string. See that? Let me run it. Because this is an object. And when you print out an object, an object is a reference data type. So you only get what? The memory location of where the object is located. Right? Because it's a reference data type. Right?
Okay.
So in that case, in order for you to print out exactly the values of the object, you create what is known as a toString method. It's just a method.
Since we have string that is added to it, which and string is a reference data type. So because of that, we have to create another string to get
No,
the
no, no.
real result. Or
No,
what did you do?
this is just a method that Java provides us. And the job of this methods just do one thing. The job of this method is to just print out whatever values for the object that you are looking for.
Okay, got it. Okay.
That's literally what it is. And you didn't have to write it. I just had to say.
So why did you put string, public string? What does that? What's the need for that?
No, I just came here. That's the name of how the method is shown, right? Right click, generate toString, chose what I want to generate, and I said okay.
No, I mean on line 70. It says
So,
public
so
string.
okay, let me explain that. It says override. Why? Because by nature, by nature, whenever you create a class in Java, that class has a toString method that comes with. But when we generate it ourselves, this method, this toString method, is going to override the one that Java had already given us. That's why it tells us here that it's override.
Were you the one that type it, or you just is?
Let's start afresh.
That override. Okay.
Let's start afresh. This is how it was, right? And the only way to get my object looking nice. Why? Because if you just print out the object is just going to show you the reference to the location in memory, which is not going to help us. But for us, Java made it easy for us to say, hey, if you have an object and you want to see the values of the object, you can use what is known as a toString method. That means this method takes anything that you are doing and convert it to a string and shows it.
Okay.
Right, and that method, to get that method, you just say right click, generate toString, and then you show that toString should show all the attributes inside that object, and all these are attributes that we wrote in the beginning. Remember that? And I say okay, so it generates it automatically.
Okay, got you. Okay.
So what this means basically means, hey, this method, this is a method, this is a Java method that this indication for override tells Java when you're running this, hey, this method that I have right now, I am overriding the one that you provide for.
Okay.
So whenever you run Java, I want you to run my method, this one that I generated now, not the one that you provide. Right?
Got you.
Then string is a return type, what the method actually returns. Right? So this method is supposed to return a string. Then toString is the name. toString here is just the name of the method. That's what it's called. Okay. I can change this. I can change this to print out items. I can change that. And then since it's not in memory, then the override won't work. I'll remove the override. And then instead, in here, where I said dot toString, you see that? I'll say human2 dot print out item.
Ah,
And I run this,
and it's still gonna give me.
it's still gonna give me the same thing. But that was just a method. You see that? It gives me the same thing.
Okay.
And all these, this I told you, slash, this thing just means he wants to put like the quotation marks. All these are the attributes that we have created up here on top.
Mm.
And your computer kind of picks them up and prints them out. So this is a toString is just a method that we use to print out objects. Right. So we just
Awesome.
printed out everything that was in human 2. You get it?
That makes so much sense and easier, faster.
Easier, faster. So that means this is one object. You can create another object right now. And we call it Jollof.
Mm-hmm.
And then we say the age is what? 69. And it's male, grade is A. The name is Olua. And the sex is female. So we put 0. Right? I can come here and
And
print
say
out.
print out jollof,
Yes.
jollof dot whatever,
Yep. And run.
and it's still gonna give us the same.
Yeah, it's gonna give me these values inside Jollof.
Hmm. That makes sense. Okay.
You see,
And since we
69.
already, it came out nicely because now we've used string to.
Yes, we use this one.
Yeah. Print out. Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, that's what a constructor is. And it allows us to, now if you have so many constructors, you can have a billion constructors, by the way. How many flavors you want, right? I created another constructor that only takes in the age. You see that?
Yes.
Only takes in the age, public human age. So I can come here and then create another object right here of human. Then I call it extra jollof, right? Is equals to new human. And inside here, I'll just put the number 48. That's it. And this works. This works. Why? Because the constructor is here. That means the computer knows, okay, he's using this one. When he's creating that object, he knows, okay, he's using this one. When he's creating this first object, it knows that, oh, he's using this, he's constructing using this constructor. How do I explain this? Let me show you. Let me put space between these guys. So look at this. See what I highlighted?
Mm-hmm.
You see it? What I highlighted?
Yeah.
Human is the same as this. You see that?
I see it.
This one here. You see that one I highlighted?
Mm-hmm.
It's the same as this one.
Yeah.
And then this one here, the last one, I highlighted over here, is the same as this one over here.
Probably the one you created. Yeah.
So that's what a constructor is. It's what we use for us to create objects. So this might be like higher level access for this object. This one is like the minimum level access. This is also another higher level access. And this is like a basic account. So you are creating multiple objects. That's why they call it object-oriented programming.
Before I used to think the object is maybe diagram, whatever.
No, this is the object that we made. We created 1, 2, 3, 4 different objects that we have here. Ready for it. Okay, this concludes this section. Let me first go ahead and stop the recording.